I think I've bricked my Path of Exile 2 character. Most changes from Path of Exile 1 actually make it a lot harder to completely brick a character, but ascendancy can't be changed once you've picked it, and that's where I've made my mistake. I've been clearing the game with a super basic ED Contagion build that I've actually played something very similar in Path of Exile 1. I picked this so I'd be comfortable roughly knowing what I'm doing, and that way I can just focus on learning and understanding Path of Exile 2. Act 1 was super easy. Sure, the bosses were slow, but it was safe. Halfway through Act 2 is where the problem starts to arise. And finally Act 3, I wanted some more damage, so I worked hard on expanding and using new skills, and that's absolutely where we got the big problems. I was clearing maps using Despair with the support gem called Impending Doom. Essentially everything started to blow up, a lot of damage, and it was great. Honestly, this next part is probably my own fault, but I've got a wand that has +2 levels to chaos spells, I've got an amulet with +2 levels to spells, and my focus also has +2 levels to spells, so all my abilities are actually getting 6 extra levels on them. So it does a lot more damage, but it costs a lot more mana. And its high mana costs are where we get a problem. I picked Blood Mage, and the very first Ascendancy passive gives all of your skills a blood cost. And it doesn't split the mana cost between 50 of the mana and 50% towards the blood. Nope, it just adds straight blood cost. Whatever your mana cost is, you spend that much in blood as well. So when I'm spending, a quarter of my life, and in fact at one point it's a third of my life on a spell, it's not a surprise that I kept either running out of healing potions during fights, or just killing myself basically. Now there is a benefit, mobs do drop these little blood orbs, and picking them up allows you to go way over your health cap. And that was great, at least clearing maps, never a problem. We would destroy the whole screen, easy, great, I'd never die, I was way over my max health. It was looking really good. But when it came to bossing, I don't think I've got this annoyed at a game in a very long time. Every single boss basically ended up with me being on low health from putting my dots on them and then getting bonked and killed. So finally I had enough of this. I got all the way to Act 1 of Brutal, and I spent all my gold just completely removing my Ascendancy passives. And now I can basically obliterate the game. The maps are super easy. I'm killing almost every boss first time. Obviously there's still occasional to get a one shot, but that's Path of Exile 2. And I think that's probably the reason I'm never going to try hardcore in this game. That and getting trapped by mobs. That is one of my few complaints. But I'm not really going to talk about that sort of complaints and good things about Path of Exile 2 yet. I want to at least get to endgame before I make a video covering that. But at the moment we are clearing all the sort of levels so fast. I'm getting between 2 and 2.5 levels an hour. At level 57, so it feels really good. I've tried taking the extra leech passive in the Ascendancy tree, hoping it sort of offsets it, but it doesn't. I started picking up more and more strength nodes, so I get more max health. Every piece of gear I have has got either some max health, some energy shield, or both, but nothing I do works. I cannot offset this passive. I even changed my entire build, so now I don't cast Despair. I'm using Hex Blast. And I'm just running Blasphemy, so I just have an aura around me putting Despair on the targets instead, and Hex Blast obviously detonates it. It's going really well, and in fact I've put a reduced mana cost on that, so now that with all the passes I'm taking for extra crit, maybe I can stick it back on. And I know for a fact mapping will never be a problem. This is fine. Well, maybe mapping in the end game will still be a problem, but usually you're so over your max health it does not matter. It's just for bosses, and I'm thinking because the other half of the passive is critting, drops his health orbs, maybe that'll work. But the only problem is it drops a health orb under the boss, so you got to get right up into the boss's face, which I'm largely doing anyway because I have to apply Despair. The only other thing I could think is building on the passive tree towards the passive that removes MP cost and just turns it into a life cost, so that way we've only got one resource to manage. It doesn't negate the problem, but at least then you don't have to worry about your mana, you just focus on your life. If there's anything else I can do to convert mana to life, or maybe the mana potion, if I could use a health potion in that slot, which I don't think I can. Maybe there's ways around it, but I just can't work it out. I'm still trying, I'm hoping I can get it to work, because at the moment I'm basically running around without an Ascendancy, because I can't pick it. I think what I would love to see, honestly, if they don't want to change the passive, it's fine, because it's got some really great benefits, and I think the further into the later the game that you go, the better this passive is. I wish it wasn't the first one. I wish I didn't have to take it. If they could swap it with a different one, if there's one that's on the tree that's a lot more basic, I would love if they could just swap those around. But if anyone has any recommendations, I'd be super down to hear them. I'm absolutely loving my character. I really don't want to have to start again. It's quite a long grind to get where I am. I'm hoping if they don't address this, or if they don't fix this, and if I can't find a way around this, then hopefully I could just stick without ascendancy passives basically. But anyway, like I said earlier, full thoughts on POE2 is coming. I just don't want to talk about it yet. I just want to reach endgame, and I'm almost there. I'm almost at the end of Act 2 Cruel, and like I said, without that passive now, things are going really, really smooth. So I should finish it within a day or two. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say down below. See you all again very, very soon. Bye bye.